There's a silence in his eyes that speaks louder than any word ever could. You've heard the words, he's moved on, he's fine, he's over it. But then he looks at you, and everything changes. There's a softness, a pause, a pull in that moment that feels like time has stopped. And you know, he might say he's moved on, but his eyes have not learned how to lie. Dear soul, if you've been carrying the weight of confusion, doubt, and wondering whether your heart is making all of this up, this message is for you. Because sometimes, the heart sees what the eyes try to ignore. The angels are close today. They are guiding you to clarity, not through logic, but through truth, the quiet kind of truth that lives in between the words. And what they are showing is that this story between you and him, it's not over. Not yet. Maybe not ever. He says he's fine. He's dating someone else. Or maybe he's buried himself in work, distractions, anything that will keep him from feeling what's still very much alive inside of him. But then he sees you. And suddenly his world feels unsteady again. He looks at you like you're the safest place he's ever known, and the most dangerous. Because you remind him of everything he tried to forget, of how deeply he once felt, of what it's like to be seen without having to explain, of how love is not always logical, but it's real. The angels want you to know this. There are moments when the soul speaks louder than words, and love finds its way to rise, uninvited, undeniable, unstoppable. He may be silent, he may be distant, but his energy, it still wraps around you. Have you noticed? The way his eyes linger just a moment too long. How his voice shifts when he says your name. How he smiles, then looks away, because smiling at you still feels like coming home, and that scares him. Because he tried to move on. And maybe he even convinced himself he had. But love, real love, has a way of staying rooted in the heart. It doesn't follow calendars or timelines. It doesn't disappear just because we pretend it's gone. And in his heart, there's still a space carved out just for you. A sacred space. A place where he hides every version of you he ever fell in love with. The way you laugh, the way you challenge him, the way you saw the good in him even when he couldn't see it himself. The angels are whispering something gentle but clear. What you're sensing is not your imagination. It's memory. It's emotion. It's truth. But here's the part that hurts. He doesn't know what to do with it. This man, whose heart once beat so freely for you, now carries the weight of what-ifs and maybes. He fears what coming back to you could mean. He fears it might be too late, or that he's too broken, or that you've already let go. So instead he says, I've moved on. It's easier than saying, I still miss you. It's safer than admitting, no one has come close to replacing you. It's a shield, a mask, a story he tells the world, and sometimes even tells himself. But the truth? The truth slips out when he sees you. It's in the way his breath catches, the way his hands fidget, the way he avoids looking at you directly, as if afraid that one more second might unravel all the walls he's built. You see, love never really leaves. It just waits. Sometimes, it waits in silence. Sometimes in distance. Sometimes in that fleeting look across a crowded room that makes your whole soul ache. And that's what the angels want to gently place in your heart today. He still feels. He still remembers. He still wonders. But he's afraid. Afraid of trying again and failing. Afraid of opening his heart only to be hurt. Afraid that you've changed, that he's changed, and that maybe what once was can't be again. But also, deep down, he's afraid of one more thing. That if he doesn't try, he'll never forgive himself. You were not just another chapter in his story. You were the one who made the pages come alive. The one who held space for his softness, for his vulnerability. The one who saw through the walls he didn't even know he had. And that kind of connection doesn't just vanish. It lingers. It echoes. It lives. So if you've been second-guessing your intuition, wondering if you're just reading too much into the way he looks at you, the angels want you to stop doubting. Your heart knows. Your energy knows. And most importantly, his heart knows too. This story between you two may have taken a pause. But love doesn't care about pauses. Love cares about truth. And truth always finds a way. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's still working through his fear. Maybe the timing feels impossible right now. But that doesn't mean the love is gone. And in time, when he finds the courage to follow what his eyes have already confessed, he'll come back not because he needs you, but because he finally understands what it means to truly love. So hold on. Not to him, but to your light, your truth, your wholeness. Because that look he gives you, it still says everything. And one day, he'll have no choice but to say it out loud. Stay open. Stay soft. And trust, what's meant for your heart will always find its way. Because the angels are already preparing the next page. And it's more beautiful than anything you could imagine. There's something sacred about the kind of love that lingers in the silence, when words fail, but the eyes still scream. And that's exactly what's happening with him. He can say he's moved on 100 times. He can build new routines, meet new people, start a new chapter. But every time he sees you, something inside him falters. That's not fiction. That's soul memory. The angels say, you're not crazy for noticing. You're not weak for still feeling. You're intuitive. You're connected. And you are part of a deeper truth he hasn't been able to fully face. He thought he could outgrow it. Bury it beneath responsibility, logic, or even pride. But every time your presence enters his reality, whether from across a room or a memory, it shakes something loose. Something tender. Something undeniable. That's the power of genuine love. It roots itself in places no one else can touch. It exists in glances, in stillness, in moments that never quite made sense but always felt like fate. He says he's moved on, but his energy, his soul, hasn't. In fact, it's still reaching for yours. The angels are showing you both as connected by threads invisible to the eye, but deeply felt in the heart. These threads don't break just because time passes or choices are made. They stretch. They bend. But they hold. Have you ever had a moment when, without saying a word, you just knew what someone was feeling? That's not wishful thinking. That's energetic communication. And with him, it's happening more than you realize. He still dreams of you. Not just in his sleep, but in thought, in longing, during those quiet moments when no one's watching and his guard is down. He dreams of the comfort, the safety, the magnetic pull that only you ever gave him. And he hides it well, he thinks. But the angels say, every time he looks at you, the mask slips. Because your presence makes him feel again. That's what he's been running from, not you, but the depth of what he feels around you. Because he's not used to feeling seen like that, known like that, loved like that. And yet, that is exactly what he craves. But love, as the angels remind us, doesn't force. It invites. It waits with open arms, not clenched fists. And so must you. They are guiding you to understand this moment as part of a spiritual lesson, for both of you. one that requires patience, clarity, and compassion. For him, it's the courage to stop pretending. For you, it's the strength to stand in your truth without chasing what isn't yet ready. Because here's what the angels see: he's on the verge of awakening. It won't be loud or dramatic. It will start subtly, in a moment of vulnerability, a memory he can't shake, a dream that leaves him questioning. But it will grow. And as it does, he'll begin to realize something he's always known but tried to suppress. You are irreplaceable. Not because you made him feel good, but because you made him feel real. Alive. Honest. Home. And when that realization finally breaks through the noise of his fears, his pride and his resistance, that's when the shift begins. The angels say that when he looked at you last, there was something different. Something heavier. Not out of anger or sadness, but out of surrender. He's beginning to lose the ability to fight the truth. And that truth is this: he still loves you. Not the version of you from before, not some perfect ideal, but the real, beautiful, evolving you that has always stood in her light, even when it hurt. But here's what you must understand, dear soul. You are not here to wait for him to catch up. You are here to continue living, glowing, growing in your truth. Because your worth was never measured by his ability to choose you. Your worth is eternal, divine, whole. Still, that doesn't erase what's happening on his end. He is transforming. Slowly, silently, painfully. But it's happening. The way he looks at you now is different from before. Before, it was desire, longing. Now, it's recognition, reverence, regret. He knows what he lost. And the angels whisper that he's starting to wonder if it's too late. But let me tell you, there is no such thing as too late for love that's meant to return. Divine timing is never rushed, never delayed. It is perfect in its unfolding. Right now, he is learning through absence, through echoes, through the undeniable truth that every other connection feels pale compared to what he had with you. And you? You are learning through presence, your own presence, through remembering who you are, even when someone else forgets. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to shine in it. The angels urge you not to lose hope, but also not to lose yourself. Love him silently if you must, but love yourself louder, deeper, brighter, because that's what will guide him home, if and when he's ready. And if he never is, you'll already be there, whole, radiant, loved. So the next time he looks at you with those eyes full of unspoken truths, let your heart hear the message, but let your soul decide how to move forward. Because while his look says everything, your love for yourself is what will say the final word. And now, dear soul, the angels ask you to reflect. What do you truly desire from this connection? Is it his return? Is it closure? Or is it simply the peace that comes from knowing you are not alone in what you felt all this time? Because the truth is, your intuition has been right all along. You've felt his presence, even in his absence. You've caught your breath when his energy brushed up against yours in unexpected moments, like a sudden memory, a dream that lingered, a song that played just when you needed it. These aren't coincidences. These are soul signs. He may not be ready to put everything into words, but the angels want you to know he is thinking about it, about you, about what he left behind, about whether there's still a way forward. He replays moments in his mind, the conversations, the laughter, even the difficult silences. He wonders if you'd be open to him now, if you'd listen, if you'd forgive. But more than anything, He wonders if he still has a place in your heart. What he doesn't realize is that his place was never taken. It was honored, protected, held with grace. But you've changed. And this is important. Because the angels say that while he has been on his journey of confusion, denial, and awakening, you have been on a parallel path of becoming. You've been shedding layers, rediscovering your power, and remembering your worth. And you've learned something he's just beginning to understand. That love is not about possession. It's about presence. It's about resonance, mutual rising, sacred timing. And while your soul may still remember the rhythm of his, it now dances to a new beat. One created not out of longing, but out of love, for yourself, for your path, for what's aligned. So what happens now? The angels are clear. What's meant to return will. Not through force. Not through desperation. But through surrender. And his soul is moving toward that surrender. You may see signs, more glances, more stumbles in his words when he's near. Maybe even messages or attempts to reconnect. But you'll notice, it's not the same energy it once was. It's softer, slower, honest. He's no longer trying to impress or pretend. He's simply trying to be seen again, by you. But here is the sacred invitation for you now. Do not lower your vibration to meet him where he used to be. Instead, invite him into the light you now stand in. If he truly loves you, and the angels believe he does, he will rise to meet you there. He will face his fears. He will soften his pride. He will speak the truth his eyes have whispered all along. And when that moment comes, it will be unmistakable. Not just because of what he says, but because of how it feels. It will feel aligned. Not rushed. Not confusing. Just clear. But if he doesn't come forward, if he never finds the courage, then, dear soul, know this, you didn't lose him. He lost the chance to stand beside a woman who had already chosen love, in its truest form. A woman who knew her worth. A woman who didn't wait to be chosen, because she had already chosen herself. And that is the love story that never ends. The angels are holding your hand through this process. They see your heart. They see how deeply you've loved and how long you've waited for him to awaken. And they want you to know, there is no shame in hope, only beauty in faith. You were never foolish for believing in love. You were faithful. And whether he walks back into your life, or you walk further into your own light, either way you win. Because the real love story, it's always been between you and the truth inside your heart. So the next time he looks at you, with that look that says everything, receive it. Feel it. Let it land. And then ask yourself, does this gaze carry the strength to walk beside you? Or is it simply a glimpse of what could have been? Because either way, you now have clarity, the power, the choice. He says he moved on. But you moved up. You rose. You healed. You remembered. And that, dear soul, is everything.